Okay, so I've already introduced this speaker, who is Maxine Kerr, the Ambassador of Happiness, a catalyst for change. This is a visual video, so as we've already done the presentation, if we could just start with that video. Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you very much indeed to IGC.
She was a vice principal and acting principal of Holy Faith Convent, Cova, a past adjunct lecturer at DAY and current adjunct lecturer at the Liberal Arts Department. She holds a master's degree in research from the University of Liverpool and a Master's of the Literaries in English, an English degree from the University of the West Indies. Paulette blends strong academic leadership with genuine student engagement. Her scholarly output spans educational pedagogy, is that right? Yeah. Publishing insightful papers such as "Is discipline the best way to achieve effective management of classroom learning?" Her work is a testament to her throughout leadership and balance of structure with empathy in the classroom. The International Book Reviewer said Paulette has extended her literary insights beyond pedagogy, producing numerous international book reviews for Redsea Book Club and Online Book Club. Her work reaches a global readership and informs a diverse literary communities.
Thank you so much. I'm not too sure if they've left the best for last, but I'm sure when it's coming. It's going to be almost my first initiation, so to speak, in terms of speaking at a conference. But I do it daily, so hopefully it will be easy. My journey began as an educator, really watching from the quiet strength of my parents. I am from a family of teachers. It's only later on I realized that my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, he was also a principal. So I excelled a bit because we are always hoping our children will excel. So if it is that our parents are teachers, we need to be more. But I have to say I was a bit more because they were primary school teachers and I went into secondary school. So I think I'm still feeling a bit proud of myself. My mother, she was a dedicated primary school teacher, and she lit the first spark. My father, whom I barely knew because I was at the age of 2 years old, and he died at the age of 25. He died from a type of cancer. But he left a legacy I discovered only later on, that he was indeed the one who pushed my mother to become the teacher that she became. They moved from the pupil student system, where they trained them then from school, so you went straight from primary school to learning how to become a teacher and having to pass numerous exams to do so. And I also realized that one of the things she told me, and I believed it, she said, boys and books don't mix. And I really believed it. But it wasn't absolutely true in her life, because it was really her partner that she met then that really made a difference in her life and helped her to pass her exams, because he was the brighter one. He went immediately into Ivory High School at the time, when you would go into pass straight from your common entrance into schools, and it was a limited number of students who did that at that time. Himself and also another of my uncles, and he got a scholarship. He went to London, and of course he never returned. He just returned now and again. So I really want to thank him for that. And in all of that as well, knowing that both of them were teachers, I realized then that education, it's not just about passing on knowledge. It is about planting a future, and he did that without even knowing it. There are few what you call dull moments in teaching. There are really few dull moments. Every day is something exciting, different happening, sometimes with the students, sometimes with the teachers, sometimes with parents. So I can tell you this, we are happy sometimes for a dull moment. You know, the quiet, dull days is something that we rejoice at. In my very first post at Matlot, some of you may not know where Matlot is, but from Sipario, where I was coming from, to Matlot, that would literally take perhaps about 6 and something hours of driving. So it's not something that you can do daily, because if you did that, by the time you get there, you are tired and you just need to come home. So we lived there. I lived there for that 2-year period. And what a journey it was. My first night, to be quite honest, I cried because, one, I only on that first day realized what I got myself into, because I never visited before. So it was quite a rural area. There are no malls, shops, etc. There was one shop. But not only that, our principal at the time, she had this fantastic visionary idea that we should stay with various villagers. So I was placed by a villager, and she closed her door with a sack of cement. And then she informed me that her grandson was in jail. So, of course, the tears came because I was really thinking, oh my God, what if he escaped from jail? Where is he going to come? Not by his grandmom. And I am there, quite far from home, with no cell phones and no mobile phones. But I survived even that. And there were no taxis. So I had to walk. You got up early in the morning and you walked about 2 and something miles to school. There was a teacher who lived next door, but I realized that she was leaving late, and I did not intend to start my journey into teaching arriving to school late. So I got up earlier in the mornings. Okay? And at that time, we had that adage of spare the rod and spoil the child. So we were allowed a little flexibility to do some beating if was necessary. But I learned a quick lesson that I can't do it. Because after giving one of the very strong Form 1 students, fishing village, accustomed rowing and fishing, etc., after giving him 2 strokes, he pulled that stick from me, and he had it in his hand. I was like, oh my, in my mind. So that moment jolted me, not just physically, but it also caused me to rethink what teaching really meant. So when corporal punishment was banned then, many of us was left wondering, how do we discipline then without fear? And the answer came in unexpected ways, through respect, relationship, and responsibility. And as I transitioned to other schools, to teaching students who wanted to learn, and there was always a mix, those who are interested in learning, those who are not so interested at that point in learning. but the journey transformed and became increasingly rewarding. I began to challenge them to be independent and lifelong learners. I have always encouraged classes, even if your teacher is absent, yes, the teacher is absent, or the teacher didn't give any work, as some of them would be happy to tell their parents. And my mother, being a teacher, taught me that, irrespective, the teacher is absent, you take out your whichever subject it is, and you go on to reading and learning, etc. And I did that, and I taught that. And wherever I saw families doing that, you saw tremendous progress also with those students. I have a friend, and her mother was illiterate, but 3 members of that family became doctors, medical doctors, engineers. And why? Because simply they believed in discipline, they believed in the power of education to transform their lives, and they just pursued it and were obedient. So there is a lot of merit too in students, children, just being obedient. So as an educator and an administrator as well, I've held on to the powerful truth of students rising to the expectation that you set. So set them high and meet every student then with dignity and respect. I grew up loving and listening to Oprah Winfrey. And one of the things she said, and it says this in this quote, but it's not exactly that you are responsible for the energy you bring into the room. But it was more like she was saying that you are responsible for your happiness. Do not put your happiness in anyone's hands. And that is the idea when you get to work. There are many facets, and there are sometimes many persons, and they have a bad day, or they are annoyed with a teacher, or they are annoyed with a student, and they would like your entire mood to change. So that smile you have on your face, it is that they can wipe it off and make you figure that, okay, get angry with that person, tell them off for me, because they don't want to tell them off. But her message remains with me, that do not allow anybody to get that much power over you that they destroy your sense of happiness, your sense of peace, your anchoring. Because when times get most turbulent in the workplace and you are the administrator, everyone is depending on you to hold the ship in a very calm and collected way. And that is what I do. So as vice principal, as principal acting, lecturer, mentor, I have learned then to be in charge of my mood and my own happiness. Because when you lead with joy, others follow with trust, and they are also happy to be in that space of calm. So to this very mixed, diverse audience of parents, students, grandparents, business leaders, healers, know this, that we are all educators in different ways. And when we share knowledge with love and expectation, we indeed change more than minds, we change futures, and thank you for doing just that in a world that badly needs it. Thank you.